Hey everybody, how we doing? Welcome to Ed Madison Podcast Project. I have a very special guest with me here today. Say hello.
Hi, my name is Brandon Whitacre. I am the guitar player for Stillchild out of Clinton, Iowa. I've known Ed here for a number of years. Actually been privileged enough to play with the man of my time. And
once or twice, right?
Once or twice, a couple times. So
Yeah.
it was a really good experience.
Yeah, so I've got Brandon on here today with me. I've known Brandon for a long time, and I don't know exactly how many years it's been. But basically what I'm going to do, while I set up our scotch, like the last episode, I'm going to basically open up this Dalwhinnie. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. We got a 15-year single malt scotch I'm going to share with my good friend today. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to have him talk a little bit more about how you want to introduce yourself beyond just us with music. So
Okay. Basically, like I said, I am the guitarist for Stillchild out of Clinton, Iowa. I am a self-employed guitar builder. I do mods, custom builds. I do have a studio that I am in the process of building, so I can have people come in, bands come in and record, and spend a lot of time with my grandson there while he learns how to play drums. So, other than that, I'm just just a musician. That's pretty much what I do.
And that's cool. So, and me and Brandon, both musicians, that's how we met each other originally in Wilton, Iowa. Well, That was the first place, I think, right?
Yeah, at the Iron Wheel, I think was the name of the Iron Horse or something like that there.
Yeah, and that was, so the funny thing is that place, didn't that end up becoming the place from Muscatine where we played there as well, like for Darren's benefit?
Yeah. The Once Around, I think was the name of the place.
Is that what
right?
it was called?
Yeah.
I honestly don't remember. But I remember...
It's also where I met my wife.
Oh, there you go. And
One More Round, that was the name of it.
One More Round.
Yeah, that was the name of it. Yep.
Exactly. So I remember, though, that there was a TV show that was on at some point, and we can put this a link in the description, but basically that guy that owned the bar in Muscatine and moved it out there to Wilton,
right?
He sold some Rock'em Sock'em robots, some life-size ones. Have you ever seen that before?
No, I haven't. No.
Check this out. And since I got a moment... what I'm going to do here, I'm going to start up my recording software on the computer. I totally forgot. How is that?
Oh, man, that's good.
I want to tell you is that once that gets going, you won't even realize it. You'll be just in the.
Yeah, that's nice.
You'll be in it. So let's do this really quick.
I had this big old introduction thing where I was going to come in as the Hispanic Hulk Hogan, and you were going to be the Nacho Man, Ed Madison.
The Nacho Man. I don't even know about that. That would have been pretty funny, though.
It would have been, but I couldn't get it all lined out. I couldn't find a good Hispanic, version of Hulk Hogan. What do you do there?
Right. Yeah. I feel like this show was called Shipping Wars, and I feel like it was... maybe it wasn't Shipping Wars. Somebody's going to probably yell it out and know who's watching this, but I feel like Rock'em Sock'em Robots... And Shipping Wars with Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Let's see. I know we're kind of getting off track here, and I may have to pull this up later and put a link in the description. But basically, this guy, I'm pretty sure he's had life-size Rock'em Sock'em Robots, right?
Yeah.
And basically, he was on this TV show called, I thought it was Shipping Wars, but where they basically bid. These truckers bid to get the job to ship that big product across the country. But yeah, that place was on the TV show.
I'll be.
Yeah. We'll look that up later because I'm having a hard time finding it. It's got to be called something besides Shipping Wars then. So anyway, that's where we met, not too far from where I currently live now.
Correct,
Up the road and at an undisclosed location, the Bat Cave. Not really. But hey, cheers, by the way. Thanks for coming over.
Hey, not a problem. Thanks for having me.
So I was in a band called Autumn Falls, which was... It was not my first cover band I was ever in, but it was the first one that I started with Barry LaFever, right?
Right.
And he saw us play there one night, and we were talking, and he grabbed your guitar, I thought, from up the road or something to play on.
Yeah, I was at Darren's house working on music for a band I was currently in, Acceptable Level of Violence at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I was up working. We were working on music up there, and Ed had already met you. I think at that point, or Darren had already met you.
Yes.
And he conned me in going down the road
to check it out.
And I said, you know what? You need another guitar player.
He was man. He was so smooth, in his delivery.
I was.
But I remember I felt like you grabbed a guitar and played Collective Soul Shine with us that night, or something like that.
I didn't, due to the fact that I'm left-handed.
But you went and grabbed a guitar, I thought, is what I...
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you are right. I went up the road to Darren's house and grabbed my guitar and came down and played that song with you. Yep.
That's what I thought it was.
Yep.
So back then, our singer, Ryan Espy, shout out to Ryan. I don't know if he's ever going to watch this or not, but basically, he was playing a second guitar, which was my guitar. So we had that second amp. You just needed the guitar to...
And that was Everlong is what it was, I believe, wasn't it? That he played the second guitar part?
He played on Everlong. Oh. I felt like for some reason it was Shine.
That probably was. It probably was.
And maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was Everlong too.
I don't know.
The bottom line is that was a long time ago. That was a lot of scotches ago.
Yes, it was.
And I don't know how many years. How long do you think ago that was?
12 maybe, I bet.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
It's been a long time.
Yeah,
And now I've got this guy hanging out with me here, drinking scotch and talking.
Very good scotch, by the way.
Yeah, I'm glad you like it.
Yeah.
It's definitely, it's more fun to drink. And I don't gain as much weight.
Right.
And I don't get hungover the next day, which is even better.
That's even better.
It is even better. So I want to talk about a few things with you because you've got your hands in a lot of bands, or not a lot of bands, but with Still Child, ALOV, and some other things you've done over the years. Mm-hmm. So over the years, but also you're building guitars, right? Is that
correct?
Are you a luthier?
I guess if you want to say that. I mean, I'm not like I'm not as big as name as some of the people in the area, but I don't have any problem having people bring me their stuff to do setups, do mods, install pickups, do wiring. You know, I have. You know, they keep coming back. So
you're like a tech almost, but you also build and assemble some guitars?
I've got my hands in some building. Right now, I'm not doing any building for anybody privately except for myself until I get it the way I want, you know. So I don't want to put anything out there that isn't a quality job. So
well, that's good. And I think that's important. It doesn't matter if you're a new company or you've been doing it for a while. You want to put out a good quality product. I mean, you're not Gibson, so you want to put out a good product.
I was fortunate enough to have a man that I rent my space from, who taught me some tricks of the trade about painting, because he paints motorcycles and stuff too. And that really helped me out. Shout out to Ozo Zoller there at Stigma Tattoo, but he's the man that showed me how to do certain things with my painting and stuff to really make it pop. So
like for the guitar. So the question is for me, because I know nothing about this, and that's why it's cool to have these guests on like you and everybody else I can learn stuff from. So if you're painting a guitar, obviously it's a little bit different than painting a motorcycle. Is there really. No, there isn't. So is it like just a layer primer and then
base coat and then you know paint it. You put, I probably put 8 to 10 coats of color on, and then another probably 8 to 10 of lacquer or what you're covering it with, and then let that set and dry really good. That takes a while. You really want that to set up hard, because even though it may feel dry to touch, it's still wet underneath. You just wet sand and polish, and they come out nice and shiny.
That's cool.
It's a lot of work.
Oh, I'm sure it is. It is. Like, especially if you're trying to make it good and you're taking your time. So the question is, do I feel like he shared with me some pictures that I'll definitely share with everybody else to check out too, and links to whatever you have, social media or for your guitars.
Right.
So I think I've seen, have you done freehand painting, drawing, stenciling? What have you done on these?
Basically I only have one that I've actually put graphics on, and that is my personal one that I play with the band Still Child, where I put the band logo on it.
Okay.
And I was going to have that airbrushed on, but I didn't feel confident enough, so basically I decaled it on. It's basically an inset decal.
Then you paint over it? Would it be a finish over it? Or
just a finish.
Clear coat?
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep. You inset it early in the process, and then you lacquer over it, and so when you look at it, you can't see the edges, you can't see the rim of the decal.
It looks like a nice finished product.
And it costs a whole hell of a lot less money.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Nice. I mean, so if you've had customers then, or people that have asked you to do this for you, are you talking, is this a lot of money to do?
I don't charge a lot of money. I mean, just due to the fact that I enjoy to do it. I do one at a time. I don't get myself buried where I have 3 or 4. I do one at a time, and when one's done, move on to another one. I refuse to take on more jobs than I can handle.
Sure, because then basically I can't concentrate. You, right?
Yeah, it's just me.
Yeah,
and then I can't concentrate and give my attention to one project. So
that's cool. And so your favorite project you've done so far, if you could name one, and I'll put a link in picture-wise, or maybe on the screen.
My son Maddie's guitar. I did an Ibanez RG for him that actually split in half, and I had to put it back together.
So what split in half? What part of it?
The body.
Oh, the body?
The funny story was I actually had it painted, done, was ready to clear coat it, and I took it off the hanger, and I dropped it. And it hit the corner of my desk and broke the thing in two, and it hit the floor. I'll have to show you the pictures. I got the picture of it broken on the floor. Had to put it back together.
Glue it and everything, right?
Yeah, drilled it, pinned it, dialed it, glued it back together. Can't tell. It looks better. It's a great paint job on it, and it's a really nice guitar.
Sweet. I'll definitely put a picture of that either in the YouTube video so you can view that, and then if we can get some links that we can share with everybody, like a photo album full of your work, just if you want to share that with.
Yeah, sure.
That'd be pretty awesome. So, you're building guitars, you're painting guitars, which is something that you're passionate about because he's been a lifelong musician, basically, right?
Yeah.
So, and you're playing this, and he plays in a band called Still Child that he already
Correct.
talked about, which is out of Clinton, Iowa, that does, and would you describe that as just metal or a certain genre of metal?
It's been described as goth, but it's not. It's more of an 80s, 90s rock with a heavier edge. I mean, you've personally heard it. Our vocalist and primary songwriter, Alicia Bartles, has a very, very good voice. And she can not only hit those high notes, but she can get that deep growl if she needs it. So I guess that's the way I'd put it. It's kind of like Evanescence on steroids, maybe. I think is a good way to put it.
Because the growling and stuff?
Yeah,
Is that
because
why?
vocally. Yeah, but
Vocally.
the music's very kind of mainstream, but with a heavy edge. On a lot of solos because of the keyboard aspect of the band. And
Sure, yeah.
so, but it's very well written music. She's an amazing writer. Lucky to have met up with her. So
That's cool. And then you've been doing this for how long with Still Child now?
going on 5 years.
5 years now
Yeah.
total? I mean, that's a while. And you've been playing, it's so original music, of course.
Right.
In case we didn't make that clear. Because usually when I talk about music on this with a lot of friends, even you, cover bands really,
Yeah.
is a lot of it. But
We have incorporated some covers here recently. Alicia and I just went through we want to do a little bit longer show rather than just doing our music. But we've picked some of the covers that we have picked are tricky. I mean, like
what? What are you doing?
Anything for Love by Meatloaf.
Okay.
Stuff like that. Doing God, what's that? Welcome Home by Coheed.
Oh yeah,
we're
love
doing
that
that.
song.
Yeah, we're doing
love
that one.
Song. Yeah.
That was actually Maddie and Alicia's pick. We're gonna do that song. She's gonna sing
Nice.
that stuff. There's a whole list of stuff that was kind of out of the box for us, which is really good.
That's awesome. To branch out, try some different fun
Yeah,
stuff.
stuff
right?
that we've always kind of wanted to do personally, maybe, and in bands, and never have had a chance to do. So
That's cool.
Yeah.
Good. So you're making some headwind with that. You're still in that. And any gigs coming up? Remind me.
I'm sure that we'll be doing our annual show at VK Shooters in Clinton, Iowa. We do that every year to kind of kick off the year with Ed and Alicia just having a baby. Today, as a matter of fact, they had a boy. But
That's
we really
awesome.
don't look.
Congratulations.
We really don't look forward to doing anything until probably maybe November, as far as rehearsing and getting ready for that show. Probably be the first show we'll do.
Give them some time to get
Yeah.
with the
Yeah,
new
be
kids.
parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many? I mean, they have multiple kids, right?
Yeah, there's I think it's this is their 6th kid.
Holy-
All boys, if you can believe
my
that.
goodness.
All boys.
Oh man.
It's amazing we find the time to play.
No kidding. I mean, I got 2 kids, 2 boys, and I feel like that's probably good enough. I couldn't imagine.
Yeah. I got 7 out there, so
Yeah.
it's so
Busy boy.
yeah, it was
I mean,
years ago.
Years ago, right? You look so young still, though.
I'm holding
right?
in there pretty well. Yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
well.
Yep.
So Still Child, he's played in a band with me in the past where we met not too far from here. And we played in that band together for quite a few years.
Almost 3, I think.
Was it
2.5.
it 3?
I'd say it was probably 2.5, almost 3.
Yeah, that band ended up going, I feel like, for a total of like 4 or 5 years. But I know you came in maybe a little bit earlier than midway through it.
Yeah.
And then was that about the time that we had Corey in it too?
Yeah. Right.
About the same time that edition was made.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and then we played a lot of different places over the Quad Cities area, which was fun.
Well, a lot of fun. I remember I have a lot of fond memories, a lot of those shows.
And I've got a lot of videos still of that too. And I might link that YouTube page for the old Autumn Falls.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
share. I think like even the most latest one that was there was like when we played in Clinton at
yeah. At
it wasn't the pig
Hooks.
band.
Hooks.
Hooks Pub.
Hooks Pub.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So I think there's a few on there from that show which would have been one of our last shows. I think second to last show or something
Yeah.
like that.
Bad Boys Pizza, I think, was the last show
Bad
we
Boys?
did together.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Right there under the bridge.
But yeah, we did that quite a few gigs through the years, which is a lot of fun. And he's a lefty too, and it's funny. You're like the 3rd or 4th southpaw I've had on the show now. But the thing is, it looks cool when you got a left-handed guitar player and a right-handed guitar player on stage.
Yes, it does.
And like when we played at Ribco, which is cool. It's always fun to say you played at Ripco, even though I know it's probably not that big of a deal. But
it is cool to say that we played there more than once.
Or more than once, exactly, which was pretty cool. So there's some good video of that too.
Very good video
back
of
when
that.
Barry was drumming too.
Yeah, back when Barry was drumming.
And like Wasteland and God, I feel like a Seether song, Papa Roach.
Yeah. I was at the Wasteland when we did that. By 10 years, that always seemed to be the most popular song we did. And we always did it very, very well. And the comments that we received from that was just like, oh my gosh,
And you know what I loved about that back then, and the reason why I started this, and I've talked about this in other podcasts too, is basically it was fun to do something that nobody else was doing and do newer stuff instead of doing the same.
And at that point in time, we were the only one of the few bands out there that were doing that style of music back in,
absolutely.
2008 or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was about that time, wasn't it? So, and
because everybody was still playing. You could go to any bar in Muscatine, I know, and you would hear 3 bands, but they would all pretty much be playing that same set list, and nobody was doing what we were doing, coming in playing the Seether, the Papa Roach, the 10 years of Sick Puppies, stuff like that.
Well, let's face it, those bands that are still in Muscatine, some of them are still doing that same shit.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they are. But whatever, if that's your thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
if that's your thing, great. If you're good at it, fantastic. But
bars change, people change,
the crowd changes.
The crowd changes. That's the best way to put it, isn't it? So, and you know what? That's why I always enjoyed doing just newer material, in some general format. Go ahead.
And the funny thing is with Still Child, we are most popular with the age group from 30 to 50, if you can believe that.
I believe it.
Because of the sound of the music. It's more that 80s, 90s heavier, right? So that's our main base fan bases, the older people.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. Because usually you think, you go to a bar, all the younger generation would be there, but it's not. It's people that come out to see us are my age, which is fantastic. I really enjoy that. I've had people like Crim Radio. I know Shelly Berkner there from Crim Radio, and she's a huge fan. What is that? Expand your playlist. It's airspeaker.com. He got a hold of one of our pre-production tracks from the upcoming CD.
Yeah.
And did a beginning of the year, blah, 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 and it came in at number 3.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, wow.
That's pretty awesome.
That's not even released.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. It's going to be really cool. So, and then that's out of Los Angeles. Banks Radio Australia. We're on regular rotation there. So, we have a lot going.
You're getting some recognition.
For a bunch of river kids,
River kids. Clinton and Muscatine.
Yeah, a bunch of river kids, man.
Yeah, Mississippi River, by the way, if anybody was unsure of that. So
that's been a wild ride for us. The biggest show of my life was opening for OTEP.
Yeah.
And then we ended up on the bills with which unfortunately we were unable to play because Ed had to have surgery for on his face. But we were on bills with Metal Church. We were on bill with Dope. We were on bill with Wednesday 13, Art of Dying, all these bands. And from that one show, the production company, boom, booked like 7 shows with us with all these huge bands.
Nice.
And then Ed ended up having to have surgery, so we didn't get to do those.
But that's cool to get that kind of recognition.
Yeah.
Just from
but I got
show.
to meet Mike Howe from Metal Church, one of my top 5 bands ever. Got to hang out with those guys. Great experience,
That's cool. It's always good to meet your idols and stuff like that.
Too.
And especially, was that in Iowa City?
Yeah, and very, very, very down to earth, nice men.
Very cool.
Yeah, very cool guys. That's very happy to have even the people that showed up show up and play for them. Thanking us, for them being able to be there.
You know what? I feel like most metal guys are super cool.
Yeah, but most of them are.
Yeah, unlike the country people out there, you can be assholes. I'm just kidding. Am I? Am I just kidding?
I'm not sure.
I'm drinking enough here. I'm going to keep going, so forgive me. But so you've that's done some pretty good things for you then with Still Child, and in the past you've played with me, and then also other bands like ALOB and things like that. Is that going to make
7? ALO, there's been some talk here recently of a reunion doing with the ALOB. It's just whether or not, obviously, Terrence Banks,
the singer,
known as Soul True out of the Quad Cities, big R&B guy. His career's really taken off.
Good.
So, it's what kind of time he has. The drummer, Dusty, he's had his hands in movie making and screenwriting, so he's kind of busy.
Is he back in the area again?
Yeah, he's back in the area, yeah.
Where's he living at now?
I'm not sure.
But we shouldn't give away his location. But,
he came down to Muscatine here, I don't know, it was a while back before I moved, before I moved my shop, and was down. He come down, played, we jammed, talked.
Hang out a little bit. Cool.
Yeah.
Good deal. I remember seeing you guys practice back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, and hearing that difference with him singing Terrence, right?
Yeah. Terrence was just such an amazing singer.
Yeah.
Very, very fortunate to have done some work with him. It was funny because my daughter, her boyfriend there, I can't remember the name of their group, but they're kind of like a hip hop group. And they come down to talk about recording with me. And they talked about having met Terrence and how, this guy, he's just got an amazing, and I went, Terrence Banks? They're like, yeah, why? And I whipped out my phone and said, that guy? And they're like, oh, you know him? I'm like, yeah, they're like, oh my God. I was like, yeah, he's a great guy. Fantastic voice,
Yeah, absolutely. Very, would you say soulful voice?
Yes. Yeah. He's done, he's done some stuff that John O'Donnell, I don't know if they still call that. It's the stadium there in Davenport.
Yeah, yep, for the River Bandits, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, and he's done many shows with top artists and stuff. He's a very busy guy these days.
That's cool. So you've been around a lot of cool musicians, fun musicians, as I have through the years, which is always great to talk, catch up and see what they're doing lately. But growing up then, so this is kind of I'm originally from Illinois, in Illinois City, then lived in Muscatine for a while. And I know you're kind of part of this group of people age group of musicians in Muscatine, because there's like a big group of those people, right?
There is, right. In there, yeah, there's me and, the guys from Old Man's Curse, the guys from Room 212. We all went to school together within a couple years of each other, and I've known each other since we were kids.
Right, which is pretty cool. And a lot of those guys are still active in that area.
Yeah,
Combination of covering original bands, depending on what you're looking at. But
yeah. A lot of them I've had the opportunity to play with. We did the Piney benefit a couple years back on a whim where Terry Osborne had gotten a hold of Darren because his band Downside couldn't make it. So we had 3 days. Me, Darren Peterson, Sean Dorton, and Terry Osborne. Learned 12 songs.
Filled in.
Went in and did it.
Got it,
And just nailed the set. And it was, I've never played a show with Sean or Terry, but I'd played many with Darren, and it just, without a hitch, man.
Of course. And that's so cool that you have that kind of trust in that community of people that you already know, you went to school with, right? And all that.
Yep. And, Sean's just a fantastic drummer. And, when you got somebody like that driving the bus, you can do anything,
makes
man.
it real easy.
Yeah, it makes it real easy. Yep.
Exactly. It's so, I get jealous of people like that do focus more on music Sean does, I'm sure he does something for a living too.
Yeah, he does. He's got a regular job.
I guess, and I don't need to know what that is, but what I'm trying to say is a lot of those guys, they do like lessons on the side and they make money on that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think he gives drum lessons still too.
Well, I feel like Barry Lefevre got drum lessons from.
Yeah, I think he may have. Yeah,
at one point. At one point, at the old Lincoln Center.
Lincoln Center, yeah.
In Muscatine there.
Which I think every band in Muscatine is now housed in, by the way. I think that's
really?
where they all practice.
Is it where they practice?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, you might as well get something out of that place, right?
Right, yeah. And it said, from what I understand, it's fairly cheap to rent the place. But
so why not?
Yeah, so why not?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that's cool. So you grew up with all these musicians. You guys are still kind of close-knit in that Muscatine area, which is so cool. You keep that going, those relationships. And then that, like the Piney benefits, obviously, all that you get together for those types of things, which is fun.
Yes. So I just played one of those with you too, as a matter of fact.
You have, absolutely, yep. So besides like the music side of things, in your life and building guitars, what's been going on lately with you? Anything exciting?
No, other than that, I really don't do a whole lot. I mean, it's always been my life. I have a great wife at home. We do what married couples do. Sit around and enjoy each other's company and
just hang out. Yeah.
Hang out like a married couple.
Have a few drinks maybe here and there.
Yeah, maybe. We don't drink as much as we used to.
I hear you. Yeah.
But I enjoy my grandkids. That's where I spend a lot of my time.
So we were talking off camera earlier, and not to cut in front of you. We were talking off camera earlier about, and this is something that's been talked about before too. With, I feel like other guests, kids these days really don't put forth. It's hard to find kids that want to put forth effort to be committed to an instrument, like we have in our younger years.
Correct.
And you've got a grandkid though that's tearing it up.
Yeah. I got a 4-year-old grandson. His name's Riley. It's my oldest son's kid.
Yeah.
And he was sitting behind a kit before he could walk. I mean, I have pictures of him behind a drum set before he could walk. I have pictures of him playing on an electric kit at a year and a half. I have video of him at 2.5 playing drums with the band.
Yeah.
Which is just it's great. It's amazing,
Oh, yeah.
And now he's 4. my son has just purchased an actual real acoustic kit for him. So
Okay.
which is probably after about a week or so, probably going to end up down at my studio, I'm sure. But he's become my focus. He's the only one of my grandkids that has. I mean, he's a musician. He talks music. He lives music, like I did.
Yeah.
And you just know that's all he wants to do.
It's hard to find that in people
It is hard to
anymore.
find that. You're born with it, and I think he's going to be one of those kids that just doesn't have to try.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna. That's where my focus is pretty much going to be, other than with the one band I'm still in, and just gonna spend my time with him and
Develop him.
Pass
That on, right? Yeah. Keep make sure that he carries the torch. Almost.
Carries the torch. Yep.
I wish my kids would try to follow through and learn something.
And out of my kids, Maddie was the only one that ever picked up music. And now he's been my bass player for 13 years.
It's been a while, yeah.
Yeah, well, 14 years. I think he just turned 29, so yeah.
And he was playing with you, though, in bars at what age?
16.
16, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that now.
Yep.
That's funny.
Yep,
And
at 16.
So like an AOLV, and I know you had Darren was in that band. Darren's going to be on the podcast. Darren, in the next month or two, I can't remember when, but we'll get him on it too.
Mm-hmm.
But so you played in all these bands with your son, or with trusting members like Dustin or Darren, which is cool. So what's the future past? You got your grandkid you're going to work with, still child. Is there in the ALOV? You said there was talks of getting back together.
There was talks. There was talks about us doing a couple shows, but in my future is I built in the process of building my studio, like I said.
So what are you doing with your studio then? Tell us about that a little bit.
I decided that when it came down to the fact that I found out from my doctor that I have neuropathy in my hands and I was going to lose the feeling in my hands, I figured that I had to have something else to do, because I still wanted to be connected to music in some way, shape, or form, because it's been my life. So I figured, well, I'll build a studio, because Riley was obviously very, very interested in music. I could focus there and maybe not miss actually actively playing anymore. So that was the big decision. I've got all my recording software. I went out and bought an electric kit just for the ease of recording. I've got pretty much everything set up. I got soundproofing to do yet, and to really just sit down and learn the software, because it's wow. There's a lot to that software.
Oh, absolutely. So. Yeah. It's like we talked about the video editing software too. There's so much to it, and I'm never going to get to half of it probably, but it's just kind of fun to dig in. I got the basics down enough, so I'm dangerous to get the videos pushed out and stuff. But the recording software I'm sure it's just even crazier.
Yeah, Matthew was down here a couple of days ago to come down and check it out, and he was just like, "Wow." Yeah. And I'm like, because I think you when you get to one point where you think you've got it, then you can pull up. It's got a whole nother program attached to it, and it's just it's mind-boggling.
Oh yeah.
It's just trying not to get overwhelmed, with what you can do, and it can do a lot, and it sounds really good. It's just remembering from time to time what you did, where it's at, how to find it. That's actually not as easy as people would think.
No, of course not. Yeah, a lot involved with that. It's cool though that you're doing that with the studio, especially considering the hand situation. So can you not just is it a feeling, if you don't mind talking about it?
Yeah, it's in my cord hand. I just went up to Rock Island to the nerve center up there and had a bunch of tests done, and basically the nerves die. You lose feeling in your hands, so you can't.
Is there anything you can do to bring life back to it?
No. Once it's gone, it's gone. And they still function. They still, So I'm waiting to see how it turns out as I lose more feeling, because as you know, it's all muscle memory.
Right. Yep.
Well, these hands have been doing it a long time. They know where they're supposed to be, when they're supposed to be, how much tension they're supposed to be. So I really don't know if it'll be a real issue, but we'll see.
That's cool. Hopefully it doesn't completely, because I know that's a huge part of your life, obviously. So, yeah.
But I figure when Riley's good enough on drums, we have this great big plan to, me and my son and Riley there, we're gonna paint his drum head off his acoustic set from you ever seen the show 2.5 Men?
Yeah.
Where the inside would be like me and Maddie with Riley in the middle.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to call it the Whitacre Jazz Trio. We're going to go out and play a show together. I'm going to play bass, and my son's going to play guitar. We're going to go out there and do some jazz. Is what we're going to do, I think. And once that happens,
I can retire. I'll
Yeah.
be completely happy with that.
So let me ask you a big question. And I think I know the answer to this, but like inspiration for music growing up was Kiss, big one?
Kiss.
So why Kiss for you?
A very good friend of mine, his name is Brian. He lived a couple doors down, and he was about the only person that was the same age in my neighborhood. So we hung out a lot, and he was a huge Kiss fan. And at that point in time, I was a huge Beatles fan. I mean, I grew up with the Beatles,
Sure.
And he introduced me to Kiss, and I was like, it was new to me. I was a young kid, very impressionable, and the theatrics, the makeup, the smoking guitars, the boom of the show.
Oh yeah.
And the reason I picked up a guitar, and to this day, the reason I play the guitar I do is because of Ace Frehley. I play that Les Paul single cutaway.
Yeah. That body style. Yeah.
That body style.
Yeah.
I've always played that body style, and that's why. I don't know why, but I mean, it's comfortable for me. I like it. He's the reason I picked up my guitar, and that's, and then from there on, of course, Queensryche, huge inspiration for me. Dream Theater, Fates Warning, bands like that. That's where that's the predominant base
progressive.
of my who I am.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
You can hear, like in my solos, you can hear that Ace Frehley bend.
Yeah.
Bend when I play a solo, you're like,
it's part of your style.
Yeah, I go from the John Petrucci to everybody's like, what's that?
Oh, it's just all those influences put together,
all
right?
those influences put together.
Exactly. Yep. So Kiss and all those progressives type ones. That's cool. What was you remember like seeing? Can you remember seeing a live show when you were growing up?
The very first live show I saw was Blue Oyster Cult, Aldo Nova, and Dokken at the Palmer Auditorium in Davenport, Iowa. Middle of winter, cold as hell.
Yeah.
Me, my dad, my brother, and Brian.
Okay.
He was a big Blue Oyster Cult fan too, and I love Blue Oyster Cult. But yeah, it was the very, very first show I ever did. I went to go see, and I just remember it. And Palmer's not a very big place,
right?
But when you're 10.
It's
it's
so
huge.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely.
And just seeing, those guys up there performing, I'm just like, that's what I want to do. And from that moment on, that's when I picked up a guitar.
And that's how it started. Do you remember what your first guitar was?
Yeah, it was a Sears and Roebuck SG, as a matter of fact.
Oh, yeah.
What it
Nice.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were gesturing. He's gesturing, I think, towards my SG as a reference.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, made of plywood or whatever it was,
But it worked.
That's how I learned. That's what I learned how to play on.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until high school when I actually owned a left-handed guitar.
I was just gonna ask. So we talked about him being a southpaw. So that would be my next question. So you started on a right-handed one.
Yeah, I always played a right-handed one. Played a lot of Ibanez's, restrung upside down. Maddie's mom, Dawn, bought me my first left-handed guitar in 1987 or 88, which was a PBG 90 that I had for 20-some years until it was stolen. It got stolen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But you had that though, and played
played it forever. Played it in LOV, and
I was wondering. I mean, does PV? Do they even make They make a guitar still?
Oh yeah, they make guitars.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't checked lately. So
I only owned one in my life, and that was the one I owned. I absolutely loved it. It was a fantastic guitar. Played really nice.
What was it called again?
A PBG 90.
I got to see this.
It was what replaced it was the Vandenberg. As a matter of fact, that's what replaced that line.
G90.
Yep. It was a multi-iridescent. Had
80s hot pink version.
It wasn't the 80s hot pink.
No. Okay.
It was the multi-iridescent. It was a multicolored. Yeah, you can see one right there.
Which one? This one?
The about fifth picture over, top.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
One more.
This one.
Yes, I think that's the multi-iridescent there. Yep, iridescent blue. Mine was paint. It was purple, red, and blue. It was a multi, but yeah.
That's cool. So not like this one though. Not like that one.
No.
No. That reminds me of one of those 80s multi-foil, weird looking ones. Oh, there's some other ones here. But I get the idea. So that's
right. Yeah, it was purple and blue and red and then of course black. But like my the one I repainted for and put Still Child on. It's that paint scheme.
It's that paint scheme.
Yeah, and it was just absolutely beautiful. It was $1,200 in 1988 or something like that.
That's a lot.
Custom order.
That was a lot back then.
It was a custom order because I was left-handed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did not, actively produce that guitar left-handed or whatever. And it was actually a custom shop order back then.
Okay, so after this one again, what did you go to after this then?
That's when I.
Wait, you had the SG though. Before that, the Epiphone?
Before that.
Or no, Sears and Roebuck. Yep.
Yep, I had that SG, that Sears and Roebuck SG. I also had a I remember Harmony Explorer, if you can believe that or not, that I restrung and played upside down.
Harmony Explorer.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah, and then I bought, I had a Ibanez Roadstar that I played for years until I got that PV, that left-hand PV.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I went to, the single cutaways that I play now, the Les Paul style guitars I play now.
Sure.
But I recently have...
Strat, though. Is that what you said earlier?
Yeah, I bought a Strat. And, I had one years ago. I didn't like it. And for a Gibson guy to play a Strat, there's a whole lot of difference in body positioning. But I did myself a favor, and I tore it out and put EMG 81s in it.
Yeah.
And this thing, dude, just has the most amazing tone ever.
Oh, I'm sure.
And it's one of my favorite guitars to play, and it feels good. And I don't know if it's just because I gotten older and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I was so much of a Gibson guy growing up that I was like, oh, Fender,
Yeah.
or what
well,
the deal was.
The style of music you listen to really had a lot of effect on that, too.
Yeah, exactly.
The same thing with me, too. It's not like I would pick up a Fender willingly because it doesn't fit my musical taste, right?
Right.
Yep.
Give it another 10 years. Well, see, when you, especially a lot with Still Child, I use a lot of that neck pickup, that warm tone for solos and softer solos. So it was something that fits real well. And recently with the music we've been writing for the second CD, the musical, it shifted quite a bit. So some of the new stuff, people are going to be like, well, that's a lot different. And it is a lot different. But it's really, really good. And I think people really...
Well, change is good, too, right?
Yeah, you have to change. If you don't change and you don't grow, then
exactly.
you're
And your fans
playing
will appreciate
casinos.
it, right?
Yeah. Oh,
exactly.
yeah. The couple tracks that we've let slip out, people love.
Right, yeah.
Surprisingly enough to me, on my Reverb Nation page, out of all the songs that I put up there, I put one of the pre-production tracks called Everything. It's the name of the song. It's number one on my. It's the most listened to, most downloaded song out of all of them.
That's awesome.
Which is a surprise to me because I figured it would be a different track. But out from the first CD to this one, that's just a great song,
and we'll share that too. Of course, we want to make sure we get him some exposure and stuff like that too. I was gonna say, I noticed that keeps changing. Just if you hold the silver part, the round silver part up top, and then other direction, then right, tighten it down.
There we go.
There you go. So get a little maintenance here. No big deal. Make sure he's comfortable over there. How's the scotch treating you?
Scotch is good.
A little strong.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, I don't drink hardly anymore, so
No, it's okay. Take your time. It's not a rush or a race. I'm just an alcoholic, so that's fine.
We used to do this little skit thing when we played live, where we would chug the beer to see who started that Shine by Collective Soul.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
Take us. I mean, that's funny. I remember that now too. That's what we did. It was
that was our little thing. We chug whoever won the race.
Yeah, and that's what it was. I was it pre-planned? I don't even remember. Did we just sometimes decide how it was going to work out?
Well, I think we did it one night on a whim, and then it became something that we did after that.
Just kind of fun to do.
Just fun to do. Yeah.
Get the crowd into it and everything.
Yep. And I think I only lost once, and I party fouled. He spilled beer all over me.
I fucking hate that song.
I recently played a band. I played in for 3 years, late December, and we played that song for a while, and then we went to playing, Where the River Flows is the one that we chose to play. But
which is a lot more harder rock and heavier.
Yeah, it's got a good groove to it, But yeah, they were just recently at the casino.
Yeah,
I wish I would have gone to that.
Yeah,
I've never seen them, so.
Saw them at Burlington Steamboat Days years and years ago.
Yeah.
They were badass.
Were they?
It was a good show. Yep. And I figured it would be, though. They were a bunch of talented guys.
They were with Three Doors Down, I think, here at the casinos.
Gotcha. I don't remember who the hell they were with down there, but it was pretty impressive. That was back when they had Joe Kosh. I don't know if I was pronouncing his name correctly or not, but that was the guitar player after Ed Childress. Not Ed Roland. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm messing that up because I used to know that.
It's like one of your favorite
well.
bands, isn't it?
Collective Soul. It used to be, for sure. I do like the band. Collective Soul. Ross Childress is what his name was.
Oh, yeah.
And he was a PRS player too, which I'm a huge PRS guy. So he was the original guy. Cheated with Ed Roland's wife, the singer's wife.
That gets kicked out.
And then they brought this guy on who was a complete badass. This Joel Kosh, whatever his name was. I saw Collective Soul once down in Burlington Steamboat Days. That was a good show. And then now they got another guitar player. They got rid of him and grabbed somebody else now too. But yeah, it's always fun to see. One of my most fun things I've done, and around the room here, I didn't really show or go through these, but some of these bands that I've seen over the years, you know, it's fun to see them, but it's also, as a musician, you get to steal how they play certain songs.
You get to see how they do it correctly.
Yes, exactly.
Because, you know, as anybody knows, you know, to listen to it, I can hear it one way, you can hear it one way. I played with a very, very gifted guitar player, Cody DuSavage. Very gifted guitar player. And but when it came down to songs, we would argue over you know, what exactly was it, this version of the chord, because we would hear things differently.
Sure.
And of course, you know, you can't rely on tablature or you know, anything like that, because it's never correct. You usually have to get about 4 versions and piece it together yourself.
Figure it out. Yep.
You know, so yeah, it's always nice to go see the show and go, aha, that's how they do it.
Exactly. Yes. And I've done this for some of the songs we played through the years too. When we played in Autumn Falls, which was nice, including from like the band. You can't see this off camera, but the band called Sick Puppies. So we played all the same. I feel like you were definitely playing that with us at some point, right?
Yeah, I played that. Yeah, and then went on to play it in ALOV too.
Oh, okay. So basically, I remember watching them play it live because the original, like so many songs, have multiple tracks, and you're trying to figure out how the hell it's put together.
Guitar number 7.
But the nice thing is that they played it just one guitar player live, the singer. So I could basically cheat and follow just what he was doing.
Yeah.
And then, you know, and we filled in the rest with the second guitar part, which is nice. But yeah, so that's always a great opportunity. You know what I find that I've used instead of tablature, which tablature you can use. Guitar tablature, by the way, is a way that guitar players can look at notes played in a song, and it's easier. It's simpler. It's not like sheet music, right? It's actually showing you fret one finger, you know, index finger or whatever. So I use live videos on YouTube.
Yeah, I've gone to that too. That what a great thing that is, especially for the kids that are growing up that are interested in music. You know, you see all these videos of 3-4-year-old kids playing Toxicity on drums, or 11-year-old kids ripping out, you know, some Dream Theater, and you're just like, wow.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly. I wish my kids would take it like that, you know, and just start hammering down.
We call them the YouTube generation, but I mean, and what a gift that would have been to like us growing up if we would have had something like that, rather than rewind, play, rewind, play, rewind, play. I don't know how many tape decks I wore out doing that growing up. So yes, I did say tape.
Tape decks. How old is this guy? No, I'm just kidding. But for me, the great thing is with YouTube, and check this out too sometime, is that when I'm watching live videos or tutorials, if it's a really intense solo, YouTube has gotten to the point where you slow down the video too, and you could literally see like almost every note.
Yeah, it's a great tool. You know, I'm jealous that I'm not 11 or 12, you know, and growing up with that tool and being a guitar player, because I mean, geez, what you could do with it is just, and you see it. You see those young kids out there, they're just blah, 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 and you're like, oh. Wow, you know,
the kids that actually go through with the music they have in their blood, right?
I
wish my kids had it in their blood. I mean, I thought they did, not so much.
I only had one, man, just one. Smallest boy. But.
That's cool. When you played in bands with him since he was 16.
Yeah, the only band I haven't played with him in is Autumn Falls.
That was the only one. Yeah. And he was there though. He
came up and played a song with us too. I caught that caught that on one of them videos I was watching here within the last 6 months. I was watching one of the shows. He got towards the end of the show, and he come up and he did, I think, Man Box with us.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just out of nowhere, here he come, you know. So yeah. But other than that, let me see. There was ALOV, which, man, I was in that band. We were in that band twice. There was ALOV. Then I came with you guys to Autumn Falls. Out of Autumn Falls to Grace 7. Out of Grace 7, Still Child, then and ALOV was back in there at some point, because we did that band twice. But when Darren lived up on Park Avenue, I think.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, you know, I mean, other than the time I spent with Autumn Falls, Maddie's been my bass player the whole time, and that's his whole music career and a good part of mine. You know.
That's so cool that you did that with your kid, though.
Yeah, and it's been a great experience to play with the bands that we've played with. You know, to get up there and do a show with OTEP with my son, to record with my son, to do that, it's a very good experience.
And he's always going to be there for you for the music, which is great.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. So yeah.
He's got no choice, Maddie. You're watching.
You're listening, Maddie. Yeah.
Hey, you have no choice. So
your kid's following right in your footsteps, buddy.
Should get him on this sometime too. Get him
Right.
over here.
Oh, Maddie?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Maddie'd love it. Yeah.
It'd be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so speaking of kids too, it's funny. We were talking earlier. This is kind of messed up. It came across my mind again. So like all these people getting like kidnapped, kids getting kidnapped.
Oh, what is with that, man?
And what did you say earlier? How many kids?
I heard a buddy of mine told me that there had been 40 some women abducted or whatever in the state of Iowa in the last month or two for some sex trafficking thing, they think.
That's
That's
what I
where-
heard. The sex trafficking.
Yeah,
thing,
I'm like,
right? Yeah.
what? You got people going to do anything about that? Or are we just going to let these people keep getting abducted here? You know?
Well, how does it happen? They keep getting away with this. What I want to know.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to know. I mean,
Pre-planned out or something? I mean, Jesus, it's
there's got to be a lot. It would have to take a whole lot. It just can't be on a whim, I would think. But you know, how do almost 50 people get abducted and you don't catch anybody?
in the state of Iowa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not California.
Right. No,
You know?
there's millions and millions of more people, right?
It's not
Exactly.
New York. It's Iowa.
And I'm curious too. Let's look that up really quick. Because recently in Brooklyn, Iowa, I played a gig there last weekend, and this poor gal was like kidnapped, and she's young. I feel like around 18 or something, 19 maybe 17, where she was baby or dog walking for her brother who was out of town or something. Somebody just ended up like taking her. The craziest thing ever. Was that Molly, Maggie? Do you remember?
Molly, I think was her name. Yeah.
Molly, Brooklyn. Yeah, here we go. I mean, this is some messed up stuff. People getting like just yanked out of the that where they live, you know, and it's like not even safe. In this town that I played in, this Brooklyn, Iowa, it's a small town, man. It's like you would. I mean, it's crazy.
And I would imagine that most of those people that have been abducted are from small towns like that.
Just targets, right?
Well, less police presence. You know, I would think.
I don't even know if Brooklyn has cops, to be honest.
See,
You know?
that'd be like Nichols. You know, Nichols doesn't really have a cop, do they?
$172,000 reward right now for the safe return of this for this gal, according to the mother. It says here, but yeah, they're trying. Oh, she's 20 years old.
Oh, 20 years old.
20 years old. It says, yeah.
You know, and the things that those kids are, you know, are being subjected to, I imagine, can't be good. So
I don't even want. I mean, I know there's documentaries out there. I've never watched any of them that talk about sex trafficking and all that stuff. But I've seen billboards when I travel a lot for work. I'm a janitor for McDonald's.
Janitor from McDonald's.
That's an ongoing.
I'm a cashier.
That's an ongoing thing. But basically, I see even billboards. So I mean, it must be big of a deal if people are spending money on billboards for awareness.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, there's all kinds of different things here showing up. How one man tried to kidnap 19 kids across the state of Iowa. One man tried to
there
kidnap.
you go. There's
40 miss. Yeah.
Is that, yeah.
There's not.
Oh, there's not. Okay, there's not.
Well, I mean, this could just be some website that's trying to be like, oh, there's nothing going on.
I mean, that's just what I heard. You know, it was just, it wasn't.
No. I'm obviously something's going on. 19 boys and so it's boys and girls then.
Oh, it's both, huh?
Shit, in a 10-day period. You see this shit? I know you can't see probably from there, but it says 19 boys and 17 girls between the ages of 13 and 20 went missing within a 10-day period in Iowa.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's horrible.
And they're all in towns close to I-80.
Right, yeah, right on the interstate. Quick, get in, get gone. Yeah.
That's messed up, man. I mean, that's crazy. And, the funny thing is that I got two boys, and I'm not even worried about it really here. I mean, should I, though? I mean,
you should always be worried about something like that because, if you're not, you always you always see those stories where people say, well, we wouldn't expect that to happen in our town to us. If you're that person, that's why that happened, because you didn't expect it.
Yeah.
You didn't have the security lights. You didn't have the, the dog or, whatever to keep the people away that you don't want coming toward your house.
Yeah, exactly. And so recently I installed these products. I don't know if you noticed when you were at the door.
I did notice, yeah.
And did you ever ring the doorbell when you were there?
No, I did not, no.
So that's why I didn't hear you or know you were there. But I did get notifications on my phone, which was funny when I came back inside. So basically I've got this on my phone. I have something that lets me know if if somebody's at the door, which is convenient. So
it's a very nice bottle of scotch.
A very nice bottle. But yeah, check it out. So earlier, I was setting everything up, so I didn't see the notification on my phone, but it actually lets me know. So basically,
so it recorded me coming up too, huh?
The front door too. So
Yeah.
get all that. So
Nice.
the cool thing is technology today for me.
Well, see, and I have that. Sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
I have that set up. I have a camera set up in my studio, and it's set up way up on the top of the wall.
Oh yeah.
And it's got 360 rotation or whatever, and I get my notifications or anything, and I can check it. It's stored in the cloud, and I can run back. I can check out the footage from when I'm not there and everything on it.
So that's basically what this does.
Yeah,
The cool
yep.
thing is that these are Nest doorbells, is what they are.
Yeah.
So they're hardwired into my doorbell system, which is awesome. So like a normal doorbell, it's gonna basically ring. But on my phone, it records up to 5 days of
In case you go on vacation.
So think about what I do for a living: traveling
that's true.
for McDonald's, and janitor for them.
I would teach people how to clean toilets.
It's very difficult.
Which
work.
is funny because we have my wife come in here. She is the supervisor at Kent for the janitorial department.
Tammy, can you hear us? No, I'm just kidding.
She come in here and tell you how to do it correctly.
That's okay. That's good to know. But I guess when I'm gone for work, right? When I'm out of town and the boys happen to be here, and this is, I shouldn't be saying this out loud, and the boys aren't typically here when I'm gone.
Right.
They're with their mom or their grandma.
Right.
But I know. So when my oldest, if you're whatever camera we're looking at,
We know when you're having a party.
we know when girls are coming over, when there's a party here at the house and dad's not home, and dad's kicking your ass if he finds out. That's all there is to it.
That's all there is to it.
Yeah, so I've got him, the two main entrances on the door, I've got them set up.
Yeah.
So I can check it out. This one, there's a door behind us, behind me here, sliding door. There's no way to get in from the outside.
Yeah.
There's two ways into this house, and they're both video recorded.
Yeah, that's the way to have it. Yeah, and it's really too bad that you have to do that.
Right. And so I will tell you, though, it wasn't because I was worried about, somebody kidnapping the kids, but I just want to be big brother. That's what I want to do. And also, so if I have a guitar or bass, delivered by FedEx, I want to see if somebody takes that motherfucking guitar or that bass and
Yeah.
you are mine.
I had my PVG 90,
Yes.
my Les Paul, Maddie's 3 basses, and all of our music gear stolen out of my garage. Well, it was when I was married to my ex-wife, so we're talking 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Out of my garage. You know how they got in?
How they get in.
I have security lights.
Yeah.
Okay, above the
Like
back.
floodlights, security
Yeah,
lights.
they come on above them. They had the stupid louvered fucking glass windows. They took the plates out.
Is that what they did? And
Yeah,
snuck
and
right in?
got in. Took everything. Yeah. Yeah, every bit of musical gear I had in there. And our paintball guns.
Damn it.
Damn it. Had a really nice
The paintball
ion
guns.
back then,
So you have to tell me a little bit about paintball. So my boys got, and it's sad, and I apologize to them. I need to take them out at some point, but
The greatest sport ever invented, let me tell you.
so my boys got from my mom and her fiance Mike in Chicago. They got paintball guns and stuff, and I have not taken them out yet.
I have been actively playing that game since I was 16 years old. Me and Darren. Imagine that, right?
So
Me.
where do you play though?
We used to play here in town, and it
So in town, we're not necessarily.
Oh yeah, in
Muscatine,
Muscatine. Well, where we used to play is where Walmart and everything stands now. But we played there. Tiffin had a paintball course for years, but eventually got shut down. It kind of comes and goes. I mean, I started playing because of Mr. Hine, my welding teacher at Muscatine High School.
Hine?
Yeah, Mr. Hine. Yeah, he was big.
Yeah.
He was a football coach too. But somehow we had got on the topic, and he told me where I could go rent the stuff. So we went to Coal Valley. Me and my buddy Shad Sandman, and we rented all this stuff. Right? I mean, we had like 40 kids. We go up and get all this stuff. Boom, guns, paint, masks. Rent all this stuff for the weekend, and had like a overnighter or whatever. 40 kids playing in this little abandoned barn and on the land all around it. And dude. And this is way back before you had all that technology. You put a 12-gram cartridge in the handle, and you put a tube of 10 shots down the barrel, and you pulled it, and you smacked it. And
You're ready to go.
yeah, and boom. And so when you shot it, you had to recock it. So you're shooting like this. Oh, it's called a Splat Master. It was
okay.
just a little green pistol.
So it didn't have like the tank.
No, you had 12-gram cartridges. This was before what they called the California Air, where you screwed the tanks on and stuff. Yeah, this was the very early, back in the 80s, and hooked. Yeah, I'm 46. I've been playing it for 30 years.
That's awesome.
Me and Darren, and it's, man, to this day, I suit up, put the mask on, get the gun.
In the zone.
Dude.
Auto zone.
Heart's pumping. You get that rush, and you just,
Honestly, if I was facing off against Darren, my heart would be pumping ready to shoot him in the face.
Darren can't run anymore. You know, he's got that fake knee. He can't run anymore. He ain't going to get away from you.
Doesn't matter. He was an easy target before that. You heard
Darren's
me.
actually a very good paintball player.
Is he? Okay.
Yes,
That's
he
right.
is.
We can still give him shit, though, because he's not here right now.
My brother is probably the best paintball player I know. He's pretty sneaky for a fat guy.
He's sneaky for a fat guy.
Yeah.
Do you like dress up in like all the camo gear and
Oh,
everything?
we didn't wear no camo, man. We had the jerseys, the vented jerseys with the
Oh,
elbow pads.
yeah.
Pants,
Get ready to get down. And,
just
dodge.
like we look like those professional guys out there zinging paint. Yeah, we didn't care about hiding.
That's hilarious. So I really want to take the boys because they got this gear, and I honestly it's my own fault.
I don't know if there's still a place in West Liberty or not.
Liberty.
There used to be a field in West Liberty, yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know if there is or not anymore.
Man,
there was a few years ago.
Do you remember back in the day when I lived in Illinois City?
Yeah.
Out in the country? That'd have been perfect, right?
Yeah, would have been
with all
perfect.
the woods and stuff like
Yep.
that.
Yep.
Yes, I'm refilling one more time.
We used to play over there at Leopard's place over there, across the bridge there in Illinois. Will Leopard, that Leopard family over there. They had like 68 acres over there
Of woods?
of woods. We played on a portion of it over there for a number of years. Yep.
I need to take the boys. That's the bottom line.
You do need to take it because I mean, even if you're out of shape and old and you breathe heavy like I do, dude.
Let me ask you this: what do you think is a high-end paintball gun? Do they have like machine guns now?
The
or
last
something?
one I owned was an Ion made by Smart Parts, and that company's no longer around, I don't think. And when I had over $1,300 in that gun, you bought them. It was a pretty cheap gun to buy in the beginning, but
you have to add on.
I
to
had
it
the
in
carbon fiber tank. I had the Cricut board put in. I had the better board put in it for the electronics and different barrels, different triggers.
Look at this guy. This asshole means business. Look at him. He looks like somebody.
That's
who's just,
nothing.
He's way into it.
Yeah, that's.
No, I'm just kidding. That's cool if you're into it. Tipman.
Tipman was great back in the day, but like where they just showed that die proto, the rail.
Down. Yeah.
Yeah, that's more what you're looking at. Yep, that's pretty much.
So it's like a pistol. Holy cow! This one's like a.
Well, but by the time you put the tank on it, it's more like that tank screws on to the bottom underneath where that handle is. See where that line comes down?
Yeah, right here.
Yep, that line comes down to the handle.
So how much something like this do you think before I click this? What do you think it is?
Die proto's probably about $1,000, just as it sits.
Currently unavailable. Shit.
That's a nice gun though.
Oh wow.
Die makes great guns.
Die does.
Yeah,
okay.
they're the big gun company out there.
So this article is basically the top 10. Look at this thing.
Well, see, the game has gone back to where it has gone back to where it's more capture the flag in the woods type thing. It spent a number of years there where it was, air bunkers, and you played in a little tiny lot, and you could just spray as much paint as you want, like the pros do on TV. But it's gone back to more of that capture the flag, scenario type playing where it's more involved in the woods. So it's gone back to those actual style guns where everybody plays a role. Where you're like we played in this place in Hobart, Indiana. It's an abandoned military base.
Nice.
And they actually had an F-150, like a F-150 Blazer with a gun turret on the top. And what it was a couple of those Tipmans right there taped together with a hand crank in the son of a bitch, right? And they made some kind of holder on it. And this chick's on the top of this, and I got a hole cut in the roof, but a little thing around it, and she with these two guns.
How do you avoid that? How do you dodge that?
You get very low in the grass,
cover.
I'll tell you that. Yeah, and here she's just swinging around on this. On this, I imagine it was like a bar stool or something. She was sitting on, mowing people down.
The sound effect is like spot on.
Yeah, it is. I was just like, holy crap, Everybody's yelling, tag, everybody's hitting the ground, and paint's going, it's just like.
I mean, for $179, I would totally go like Rambo
Yeah,
on anybody with
yeah,
two of those things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you're not going to play a whole lot, that's probably like the perfect gun. But, we played, Darren and I and my brother, man, we played probably twice a week for the better part of 15 years.
So is this style, and I'll put it in the YouTube video, see
the paint
screenshot.
sprayers, what we call it, paint sprayers, guys just hang on the trigger. Like I used to shoot 800 rounds a game. That's the gun I would own.
This one right here.
Yeah, my brother
would like own something like you were looking like a tipman and shoot 3 rounds game and get 3 kills. Yeah, but that was my brother.
Waste a bunch
I'd
of
shoot
paintballs.
800, get 1 guy. You know, yeah, that's the difference.
I mean, what's the cost of paintballs anymore? Do you think they're
I'm
pretty
not
expensive?
sure anymore. They were like $40 or $50 a case, and that was a couple thousand rounds. You
I mean,
know?
look at these. Some of these they look like legit actual freaking guns, man.
Yeah.
I mean, this looks like a little SMG or some.
Yeah, they're
like
modeled. They're modeled. Well, Tipman actually they made an SMG. I used to own one that had a tip. It was a Tipman. It was a 60 SMG 60. Had a clip that you actually clipped in the side and had a bag on the other end, and you put 3 balls in these little plastic clips.
Yeah.
This was like way early in the game.
Yeah.
And you, da, 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 da. Yeah, it was full automatic. You held on to it, and it shot the clips, and it would go out and come out in the bag, and you'd reload. Yeah.
So for like paintball, and help me understand this, 'cause I know nothing about paintball, but I'm interested because obviously I need to take the boys out.
Right.
So let's say you're playing capture the flag, and I'm used to like capture the flag on like first person shooters on video games, so
Right.
I don't know nothing about this, but so you're basically you got 2 teams, and basically you're trying to capture the other flag.
Correct.
Which means you physically grab a flag and run it back to
Correct.
your base,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
And whoever does it first wins.
Right.
So let's say you got teams of what? 10, 20, 30?
It's usually about 25. Yeah.
So you got teams of 25. When are you out?
You are out if any, and this used to be the standard rule, global rule. If anything bigger than a dime spot of paint is on your body or your gun anywhere,
Does that cause a lot of pissed off
You have
people
refs.
though? Oh,
Yeah.
you have refs.
if there was any question, somebody will yell for a paint check. Is what they call
You have to freeze.
a shooter call for paint check. That freezes the action, and the ref will ask where, and you will say over here, and the ref will go over and personally check the person and call them in or out.
So let's say you're running, paintball hits like the cover next to you. And
Anything
it gives a little
over
splatter.
a dime spot, you're out.
You're cool though if it's a little splatter.
Yeah, if it's just a piece of a shell or something, but anything bigger than a dime, even if it hit a tree and on a leaf, it
And it
landed
fell down.
and fell down on you.
fucked.
You're out. Yeah,
You're out. By the way,
you could be out. Yeah.
that's cool. Yeah. So it's cool. I mean, I gotta figure this out. I need to take the kids somewhere to do
Yeah.
this.
Um,
And I don't have a gun yet. So what, us looking at this is like me thinking, and I don't own an actual gun, so this would be the only gun I would actually own here.
Yeah.
I mean, what so you're saying
I'm saying if you're gonna have to take your kids to a actual paintball park probably, and there used to be a number of them around here, but I really don't think there are anymore. My brother plays at a place every now and again up towards Chicago when he goes up to visit his buddy. I can get you the name of that. He says it's a really good. They got like different parts of it, like an abandoned city where they got the cars and the buildings, and then there's the woodland, place you can go play at. Different scenarios set up where you can come in and storm the house or the building or whatever. But
I want to do something like that with the kids.
okay,
The
I
thing
can get
is-
you the name of it.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. And the thing is, when they got the gift for Christmas, they also my mom's fiance owns a sign printing company. They do vinyls and stuff. So he printed on this super wide and maybe like this tall, but like super wide, right? It's got a bunch of targets on it.
Yeah.
For them to hit. But he's
yeah.
like, "Can you do that in the backyard?" I'm like, I don't know if I can do that in the backyard or not, bro.
I used to shoot mine from my deck when Kelly and I were married up there on 3rd Street all the time. Right on the deck. Whack, 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 whack.
Did you really?
Me and Darren's brother Eric all the time, yeah.
I feel like in my backyard. I mean, I'm connected to the neighbor's yard. I don't know what I do there.
As long as you were, not shooting towards their house, I would think that they probably wouldn't have a whole bunch of problems. Get one of them round hay targets or something.
Yeah, and then put that screen print. I'll show you
Yeah,
before
put
you
a
leave.
net around it.
It's pretty
It's got-
awesome. I just haven't had a chance to use it with them. But I need a gun though. So I need a gun.
It depends on how much you're going to play, but you want something kind of about mid-price that's going to shoot pretty quick.
Here's the deal. I have no sympathy for my children or anybody else.
Well, I
there.
don't either.
I'm a fucking savage. So that means that I want the best fucking gun there
And here's
is.
the deal: is ask Maddie next time you see Maddie, or if he ever comes on the show, ask him
Yeah.
about this.
Yeah.
We were playing. We were playing over here in Illinois, or playing in Illinois. For some reason, I thought you were in on. And we were playing, and we were on 9 acres, and with my buddy's place, and he's in a creek bed.
Sneaky.
Yeah, I thought so until I caught him in the creek bed. Dude, I just lit him up as like he said he had a cross that went like this. I just smoked him in that creek bed. No sympathy. You are the enemy. Yep.
That's
Ask
awesome.
him about it sometime. Yeah, he'll be like, "Oh yeah, that son of a bitch." You know?
I got to do that.
Yep.
No, well, the thing is with this podcast too is that it's kind of like word of mouth so far.
Yeah.
I honestly haven't reached out to too many people for the first full year, and I'm booked out through. At this point, I've got enough guests into March now.
Wow.
Of next year, and I'm doing 2 a month starting next January.
Yeah. See.
So
Getting some popularity there, huh?
yeah. Or here's the deal: I'm gaining popularity in people that want to drink scotch with me.
And smoke a good cigar, right? Is
Yeah,
that what
exactly. And not everybody gets a chance to smoke a good cigar with me, but we'll definitely do this after we're done, right?
Yeah. Used
But
to be a ritual for us there, the good cigar.
before every gig, if you remember.
Yes. Yep. Every gig.
So, and I don't know if I've ever talked about this. So basically, when I was back with Brandon, we played in Autumn Falls, which is a cover band we used to play in. I always used to gig, and before we gigged, I'm saying I would used to smoke a cigar, right? And it was kind of my way of, if you're in a band, and I know some people watching, my friends that are in musicians, they know once you get set up, you try to calm down right before you. For me, it was smoking a cigar, which technically brought my blood pressure level
Right.
sky-high.
Wasn't any worse than the 2 beers and 2 shots I did before every shot.
But the nice thing though is with the cigar though, I basically walked out and did my own thing, and for the most part I was by myself.
Yep.
But there were sometimes we were together if it was an outside show or something like that. But I don't do that as much as I used to.
My pregame ritual is and I've always been kind of that social butterfly. I like to go around, talk to people before the show and after the show, get at people's opinions on the show. How do we sound? Blah blah blah. And I've always kind of been like that. And the drunker I get, the worse it gets. But
You never got drunk at a gig, right?
no. I never threw a guitar up against the wall, walked out on a show once. That never happened.
It's okay. It was almost over anyway. So
Yeah, it was almost. The band was almost over anyway. But
no, I meant like the gig.
the gig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I remember standing there and looking at my guitar, and I remember hearing the music for My Hero. I remember hearing the band playing it and going, I can't move my hands. Uh-oh. But anyway, yeah, I like before a show, being as I really don't drink anymore. It used to be have a couple beers, have a couple shots, and that would put me right. I'd be right at that level. I'm ready to take on the world. But now that I don't drink, I go outside about 20 minutes before we take the stage and just kind of breathe in the air and just relax and get my head in the right get my head in the right space, because when I go up there to perform and with the bigger shows that we had been doing, you want to give 100%. You want to be focused. You want to do that. So that's kind of why when we start playing those bigger shows, I quit that. We're gonna play at the Brew. I'm gonna be hammered before we play. But although when we did the Piney Bet with Still Child, I was drunker than shit when I did that show, and man, did we play good. I've got all the video, but it's I get that inner peace. It's become pretty big and important. Not for me not to let that stupid stuff that happens in your local club or whatever happened.
You gotta flush that shit out, man.
Yeah.
You gotta flush it out. So and that's
positive
the thing.
thoughts.
Positive, even if it. You know what? Here's the deal. Let's face it. And I try to be positive in my life, especially being a janitor for McDonald's. It's tough.
That makes it hard though.
But honestly, I find that it's, even though you can't be 100% positive, the nice thing is that if you can find something that kind of calms you down, that brings you back to reality, and I think the cigars did that. Because back in the day, when I was smoking those cigars before the shows, that was back in the Meg days, right?
Yes, it was. Yes.
Yep. So my ex-fiance, not to get too deep into that.
You were a little more tense then. Let's just say that.
I was a little more tense because of things going on in my life, and the kids were younger, driving me crazy, of course, too. But I don't regret any of that, and the fun, the cigars, and playing those gigs with you, which is a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, they were great times. Yeah.
Now I've sold my soul completely, because I do solo acoustic shows.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. We can leave it at that. And then also, I still play with Blackout though.
Oh, do you still? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. The next show we're actually playing it.
Now, are you still doing it as an acoustic thing, a 3-piece acoustic thing, or
both? Good question. So we do both, and actually,
so you do have an electric band.
Yes,
really?
we play at Froze Founders.
Well, I knew you did have one for a while. but I didn't know if that was still a thing or not.
It comes and goes depending on the bass players in our life. So with some bands, you got one member you're always rotating through. It seems like with Blackout, it's always been we could never find a bass player that was worth a damn. Never worth a damn. And I apologize for any bass players that would actually be watching. I don't think the only one that I can think mutually for us would be Corey, but I don't think I don't know if he was ever in Blackout.
I don't think Corey was ever in Blackout.
But so we've had a few over the years, but it's been mostly an acoustic band, right?
Yeah, with you and Mike,
Me, Mike, and then Chad plays drums on occasion, or the congas.
The conga.
The tall congas, yep. And then
the djembe.
So the djembe. Well, Ryan always had a djembe.
Yeah.
From Autumn Falls, but so we play at Founders Day weekend. And then we play the last bike night of the year for Froze too, or not Froze. Building 311.
Yeah.
I want to be 100% specific on that.
There is a difference.
There is a difference. It is not at Froze. It's next to, not in Froze.
Right.
But so we play electric shows, but we also play. So Blackout's been doing pretty well because we played at Chrome Horse Saloon in Cedar Rapids.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've never played there in all the years I played. I've never played the Chrome Horse.
So we played there once with Blackout already. We've got our second gig there September 1st.
That's a good gig there.
Awesome gig.
Yeah.
Very fortunate.
Yeah,
and then also
that tops the Ribco. It's
Yep, exactly. So which is kind of cool for that. But the thing is with we played a couple of outside gigs, not festivals this year. We played at the Clarence Street Brick Dance. Their yearly thing, and we also played at the Long Grove Strawberry Festival, those are both trailer shows where you set up a big flatbed trailer and play. So I stay busy on the electric gigs and the acoustic gigs with Blackout. I also sell my soul.
On go out there and do them yourself, huh?
Yeah,
I have to catch one of those.
You are more than welcome to hang out.
I didn't know you were doing a solo gig.
I've been doing that since the beginning. December. I've been doing that. Sorry for the awkward silence for those that are listening instead of watching the video on YouTube, because this is on SoundCloud and stuff, so it can be listened to as a podcast. I've been doing that since December of 2017, but I've been doing okay. I've had gigs at least once every month, and I've even played at the same place now coming up. I played one place in Columbus Junction 3 times now, so I'm getting some repeat business.
Which place in Columbus Junction?
So it used to be Buckman's Oasis. And now it's called...
is that next to the Mexican restaurant down there?
Now it's called Mugs. And they love me there. So I love playing there.
You must be doing a good job singing then.
I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
The funny thing is when I met this guy, I wasn't singing at all. Don't fucking put me next to this microphone. Are you kidding me? No way. Now...
There'd be times I remember when Ryan wouldn't make it. You'd sing, we'd practice, and you'd sing. And
just to fuck around, right?
Yeah. It'd be Corey Taylor. Remember those nights? A lot of fun nights
at Barry's Garage in Illinois
yeah.
City. I remember Barry. If you ever watched, I gotta get Barry Lefevre on this too.
Yeah.
But I remember doing the Corey Taylor, and that was back when I was a little bit younger, so I could kind of just push my voice to that. The thing is, Corey Taylor has 2 screaming voices, and I can't remember which one it was. I feel like it was the earlier one, the more kind of yelling and gruffier kind of one. But so I don't scream obviously in the acoustic solo shows.
Right.
But you know what I do? You know how I sell my soul? What songs do you think I'm singing? I do 90s and newer still only. Can you picture one?
God, I should really know this.
So I do all the classics from bands like Third Eye Blind, Eagle Eye Cherry, Gin Blossoms. Just the mixed variety. I do that. You know why? Because I'm a music whore.
Yeah.
Brandon?
Ed, I was playing in 4 bands at one time up until recently. Okay. I had Still Child, Late December. I had auditioned to do and got the job as guitar player in Dueling at Dawn, which I ended up turning down because, I had too many other commitments. And then Maddie and I were we were trying to start a band where he could play guitar in kind of like Camelot or something like that along those lines.
Oh, okay.
And so I had my hands in 4 different projects at one time, plus the studio, plus building music whore is what I am. Yeah, it's I love music, man. I always have, and I know you always have, and it's always been a really big part of our lives. And every time we do see each other, it seems to be the topic of a discussion. So
and that's okay. The thing is with this podcast is that not every episode has been music related, and I honestly, and this, I got a lot of music related friends, right?
Right.
So, and that's okay. I'm completely cool with that. It's always fun to catch up with somebody that I haven't seen for the longest time.
It has been a while.
It's been a while, and it's history is never worth forgetting. You always got to remember where you come from, where you've been, and it doesn't matter if it's music. It doesn't matter if it's music or anything else.
And I have thanked. I know you've probably seen this on Facebook. Once a year or so, I have a. Once you get older, for our younger listeners, there you reflect, and about once a year, around the end of the year, I make a post and I thank every musician I've ever played with.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Because you have to. I've had a lot of good times with a lot of different people. I've learned a lot of things from different people. I've stolen techniques from a lot of different people. I mean, and if it wasn't for those people that I grew up with in high school, to you guys,
that group we talked about,
I had never played any what they call quote unquote modern alternative. I'd never heard of Cedar 10 Years, Sick Puppies. I joined that band as a Slayer Anthrax guy. When I joined that band, had a great time. And now some of those bands have stuck with me. 10 years, because one of my favorite bands out there. Bands like that have stuck with me that I would have never heard of if it wasn't for you and Barry and Ryan. So, that has become a part of my style. And so before that, I was just a metalhead, man. It's no 80s speed metal guy,
Yeah, and that's cool. And I respect that. I respect the Kiss, the Beatles, the 80s, the progressive, all that. Everybody's got their own take. And us as musicians, me and Brandon, I feel like are the same way on this. You pick up things, right?
Yeah,
you really do. And I picked up things. I've sold my soul. I've picked up all these different things that I never would have ever wanted to pick up.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it has made me a better player. Even down to when me and Corey did the Tool stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We never could find a singer.
Right.
But that was the most, what, I feel like in the progressive side of things with Dream Theater, the off-time signatures and stuff, learning to count as a musician, children out there that are learning to play instruments.
Very important.
Counting is very important. So 4/4 time is basically something that you're going to see on most music out there. But when you get into something that's a little bit more complex, you learn to appreciate that music is more than just a garden party. Let's talk Beatles.
Yeah. It's more than just your
happy birthday.
Like I have a buddy of mine that he says he's been playing in the same band 25 years. I had the opportunity he filled in for us for a year or better in late December as a drummer.
Yeah.
And he I always thought he was a really good drummer, and which he is. Don't get me wrong. I think the world of the guy, and he's a good drummer. But he says I'm a jam drummer.
A jam drummer.
I'm a jam drummer, and that's what he is.
Yeah.
And for the band he plays in, it works well. He's very solid, but he, that's what he is. He's a basic. Like Barry. Barry was always like a real 4/4 guy.
And that's no disrespect. But I feel the same way.
Yeah, Barry.
Right?
Barry was. It was a very 4/4 time, but he was always there. You knew
he was. Yep.
Where he was gonna be every time we played a song.
Barry, if you're fucking watching, you better be on this podcast at some point. Agreed? Agreed.
And he was, it's kind of like Ed, the drummer for Stillchild. The stuff got recorded. You go see us now. It is played exactly the same way. Every roll, every cymbal hit, every bass, every kick is exactly the way it is on that CD. And I never have to worry about it.
I appreciate that. I feel like I'm very spoiled. So Chad Grimm, which you know very well too.
Very good drummer. Yes.
Very much by the book. Chad is he's the complete drummer except for one thing, and he's always admitted this: double bass.
He's got no feet.
Yeah. But that's because maybe at some point I hope Chad, if you're listening to, which I don't know if he watches this, I hope he's on this podcast too because he's got a history.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. But everybody's got their own style. Like Kiss, Beatles, you grown up, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's your influence, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see it in your playing style. Mm-hmm. Everybody gets that, and in their own playing style. Mm-hmm. Chad is a great drummer, and I was grateful to do him. Fucking machine. He still is.
Man, when we did that show in McCausland there for Ryan's.
Yes.
He learned all that stuff in just a couple days, a 4-hour set.
He's a badass.
And,
he is. Yeah.
And it was just, what a machine that guy is, and to this day, probably the best drummer I've ever played with. Ed's very, very good, and it's two different styles. But Chad,
no disrespect, Ed's good too. I've seen him play in Stillchild.
Yeah. Ed's a fantastic drummer. But to this day, I think Chad's probably the best drummer. So comfortable
He is,
Chad.
and I feel very fortunate to be in like Blackout with him and the electric stuff. So we recently are learning like Heavy by Collective Soul, and we're learning Hey Man Nice Shot by Filter. We're learning and Out of the Black by Royal Blood, which we already knew from another band we're in together, but Mike's gonna sing it, and fucking Song 3 by Stone Sour. And so the thing is like, I know Chad can do all that because there's no intense double bass. So for me, and I'm not trying to get into a whole nother music. So I don't know if you know this about me. And some of my really good friends, they know this about me, of course. And I'm not saying you're not a good friend where you would know, but that's why I enjoy catching up with good friends I haven't seen for a while. So I listen to a lot of metal now, but I listen to my favorite bands now, Lamb of God. So Chris Adler.
I'm surprised.
Unfucking believable drummer.
Yeah, great drummer.
And Danny Carey, and from Tool, one of my favorite drummers, because Tool's my favorite band of all time. It's I've seen him a few times before, but Chris Adler from Lamb of God, unbelievable drummer. He does stuff with 1 foot that people can't do with 2 feet. And then Gojira, which is a newer French metal band.
Yeah. My brother actually turned me on to those guys a few years back.
Unbelievable. They're another drummer band. Unbelievable drummer. You couldn't even believe. And then last but not least, I feel like there's another one that I've just been really into. I've really been a lot into Machine Head lately. And their drummer isn't necessarily crazy impressive. But those are the types of bands that I've really been into. So I sell my soul, like we talked about earlier. I'm not completely proud, but I do it.
It happens.
I got to pay the bills. I got kids. I got
Slut.
That is the most honest thing I've ever heard from anybody so far on this podcast. I am a slut.
Yeah. You're just as bad as I am. And I forgot a band.
A music slut, by the way.
And I forgot a band. Serenade the Silence that I played in with Ray Ramirez, Maddie, Joey Gephardt. We had Joey Gephardt singing.
The newer stuff?
And Cody Drew Savage on guitar. What a fantastic band.
The guy you were arguing with on the chorus.
Yeah. We played everything from Lamb of God to my favorite song to play live was Bark at the Moon by Ozzy.
Okay, so
my favorite song, you know. And Joey did a really good cover of it, and we did. Man, our list was. We did stuff like Aces High by Iron Maiden, and to come out and do that and do it well, people are just like,
like holy shit, people do this.
We opened up with End of Heartache by Killswitch Engage. We opened with that song, and we did everything from like my generation to the new generation. We had just all this, and it was such great. We did like Toxic Waltz by Exodus, and we did all this stuff that people knew, but like B-side stuff that was still popular.
People appreciate that,
and they do appreciate that a lot. And
that's what was so great about. And Brandon talked earlier about the fact that we did these 10-year songs and these stuff that he appreciated and took with him. And nobody did that shit back then.
No.
Nobody.
And that's why we were so popular. I remember when what was the bar? MVP.
Muscatine, right?
Yeah. And Dan McFate, I think was his name, on the bar, and he come down and saw us when we were playing at one more round, because somebody had said you need to go check these guys out, and he come out when we were playing down there, and that's how he heard us and wanted us to come. Holy fuck!
And we played multiple times after that.
Yeah.
Right? Remember the Dick Tracy hat?
The Dick Tracy hat. Do you remember the sombrero?
Oh fuck yeah, I do.
The sombrero.
This gentleman right here.
I do remember the Dick Tracy hat.
Yeah, that was good nights. That was the nights playing back in the day. I remember I didn't have any facial hair back then too.
It was like when we did Darren's Benefit, and I started playing that Poison song, and fucking Chad dropped into it. You set your guitar down and you went nope, and then Mike tried to sing it and didn't know the words, and Lenny Ritchie comes out of the crowd and comes up and sing the song. That was fantastic. I'd never played that song live. I ended up playing it with Grace 7 live, but
I still remember that night. I remember the very fucking moment. I'm like, well, fuck it.
Yep.
I'm off stage.
Because because you had such hate for hair band music, and at practice
and you still know it, my friends that are listening and watching this, yes.
So that would be the song I would play to piss him off, get under his skin, and I broke it out live, and god damn it if I didn't get stuck playing the stuff.
This asshole smiling.
And I hadn't even learned it yet. I was just
I know that shitty grin when I see it, and I'm like, "Fuck you, I'm out."
Like, come on, man. Corey's like, oh, I'm gonna try. But,
Right, for me,
it was a benefit. You know, if you're gonna do something like that, do it at a benefit.
I wasn't
fun.
mad. I wasn't mad.
No, I
It
know.
was just like funny because we all know that I'm a dick when it comes to 80s music.
And that's why I did it. I'm like, watch this. When Chad dropped into it, though, and then, you know.
Because Chad, he loves that stuff.
Yeah, I know. And that's
his
why,
thing,
because Chad and I are the same age, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And, you know, and Mike tried, and then I knew when Lenny come up, fuck, it was over. I'm going to have to try to play this whole song. I'm like thinking, oh my God, how's this song go? Because I don't know it.
Yeah.
I knew the opening riff. That's all I ever learned of it because I hate fucking Poison. You know? But
It's the truth.
But
If you like Poison, don't leave a comment on the YouTube. I'm gonna make fun of you.
but you know, then I got stuck having to play it. I thought I did pretty well, you know. But
It actually went pretty well.
yeah, it did go pretty well.
And I'm sure back, you know, if we looked, and I'm not going to pull it up now, but in the Autumn Falls YouTube page, in the private videos, because I took millions of videos,
Right.
but most of them aren't public.
Right.
It's probably there somewhere.
Oh, it might be.
It might be. I
Okay.
recorded these cameras. Again, I've mentioned this in previous podcasts. These cameras that we're using, so wave hello, by the way, if you haven't waved hello yet. These cameras are the same. Well, it may not be the exact same here, so use the flip video
Yeah,
recorder.
I used Flip for a long time.
Keep talking for a second.
But you know, I could check, but I tell you what, if I see it, I am not gonna watch it because I guarantee it's horrible. I guarantee it.
Are you ready for a blast from the past?
Oh God, look at that! Many a show shot on that thing.
Ultra. So this is the Ultra model, which means that it was the HD model. Look at the screen's kind of dented on that side. Check it
Man,
out.
that thing's just beat up. Gee, many Christmas.
So I used to use those for like,
Jeez.
I mean, I use that for countless gigs, right?
Countless.
And the funny thing is, let's see if it actually lights up. I'm curious. I just hit the power button. Batteries are shot. So
Yeah,
we could totally,
probably every Autumn Fall show we did was recorded on that. I'm sure.
They were. No, they were. It was one view, right?
Yeah, one view.
And
Yeah.
now I'm using these three
Multi-view.
guys. Yeah. And I kind of use the video editing software, piece them together. It's kind of
We'll
fun.
have to have you come out and shoot. We do that show. The first of the year show with Still Child. I'll have to have you come out and shoot it. 3-angle shot.
If I'm available, if I have no gigs, I'm totally there.
Yeah.
You just got to give me a heads up. So the thing is with me, between selling my soul for solo acoustic, the Blackout shows,
Yeah.
and people in my life, like recent people in my life that I'm kind of spending a lot of time with, Lacey, if you're listening. So if I got nothing going on with those three things in my life,
Mm-hmm.
I'm there to check it out.
Yeah. You know, I mean,
And we'll record it, and
all those
publish it.
videos from the Piney benefit that are up on YouTube of Still Child are all videos you shot off that camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
Dude,
Because I come up there after we got done. You said, "Oh, hey man, I shot the whole set. Now you got the videos from you. All those videos are shot off that camera from that show."
Remember the Cognicide event at Piney that year we
Mhm.
played?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I remember from that year? I'll leave it at this because we're getting to the point where we're about an hour and a half in.
Oh, okay.
But that's okay though, because we got to smoke a cigar still and catch up. A little bit more outside. I remember playing that show, and your fans were already still there.
Uh-huh.
And I'll post this.
We hadn't
link
played yet. Did we play after you?
after we were
Yeah.
earlier in the night.
Yeah, okay,
Yep. But I remember you came up to me, that amp behind you,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
the Paul Reed Smith
Yeah.
one. I remember when we were playing, you came, you're like, sorry, Darren, to say this, but I remember you told me this. You're like, I can fucking hear you loud and clear, and it's fucking awesome
Yep.
compared to Darren's Line
Yep.
6 amp.
Yep.
That's the same one. So see over on my, and the cameras can't see this, but see over on my entertainment center over there.
Yeah.
Off to the
Oh
side,
yeah.
That's the original faceplate.
Yeah.
I had a custom red one made for it.
Oh, that's nice.
That's
yeah.
the same amp that you're like, man, it sound awesome.
Yeah. Dude, well,
you could hear you were like out in the street, like
Isn't
smokers.
that the one you brought? Is that the head you brought over to my place there? That one time you come over jam for the afternoon or whatever? You had the little 212, the 212 cabinets with that head?
It probably was.
Yeah, that thing was fucking amazing.
Out in my band room that we were looking at earlier, out in my band room, my 212s, two 212s are stacked up
Yeah,
there.
that'd be those two cabinets, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
So,
thing's fucking just rips, man. That thing sounds great.
fucking high
Great
gain,
tone.
awesome.
Great tone.
I remember you coming at, and this meant a lot to me. I want you to know, you coming up to me like, man, all I can fucking hear is how how awesome your amp sounds.
Dude, it sounded great.
Yes.
Yeah, it sounded great.
Sorry,
yeah.
Darren. The Line 6.
It was just crystal clear, you know.
And I still use that. That's the same amp.
Yeah.
That's the same amp, but I just had a custom red fix. I'm a basic bitch, so red and black are my colors. So I went with the red faceplate. That's a legit. I literally paid them to do a maple.
Paul Reed Smith. You paid Paul Reed Smith to do that.
I paid Paul Reed Smith, and it was legit. It was only like, I mean, this seems expensive, but it was only $250 to have a whole new, and this camera, I feel like, point to it for me back there. That was only like $250. That's a legit piece of wood. That's a maple faceplate that they stained red for me.
Yeah.
And because I was tired of the charcoal.
Yeah.
And I got.
So they don't even make that. That's a custom deal.
That was a custom deal.
Nice.
So the thing is that it's Velcroed on, right?
Yeah.
So I replaced that. But originally, that was the one that was on stage when I played at that Cognoside. Link below, down in this description. Holy shit, I'm starting to slur. I'm fucking drunk, man.
Well, you drink. I'm still on my first one. You see here.
That's okay. Next, we're gonna have a cigar. This will not be on record or recording, but we're gonna hang out and have a good time. My friend Brandon Whitacre coming out today. Randomly, like I'm just randomly bullshitting with him. That's basically what we do here.
So that's basically what we. Yep.
You know what? It was fun catching up, talking about music. But you know what? I enjoy the paintballing stuff.
Yeah, it's a fun sport. You need to get out and try it. I'll get the name of that paintball park for you.
When we get off the recording here, I got to show you what they got from my mom and the fiance. I don't know her fiance. I don't know if it's legit stuff. I'm sure it's legit, Mike. Thank you for getting it for him. I just haven't had a chance to take him out to use it yet, but. I'm going to get myself a machine gun or something like that. I'm going to spend money on...
Nacho Ed, the machine gun guy.
I'm going to spend money on paintballs and just fucking go crazy. What did you say your brother, he spray like 800 shots?
No, that's
3
me.
kills?
Yeah, I'd shoot 800 rounds, shoot one person. My brother shoot 3 rounds, get 3 people,
Yeah, so I guess it's been awesome having Brandon here with me, man.
Always good time, man.
Left-handed, right?
Yes, left-handed.
I got to be respectful of the left-handed southpaw, right?
Right. I guess.
It's good having him out, and I've had enough to drink where we're probably going to cut this off. We're going to finish some drink. We're going to have have a cigar, and I'm looking forward to the next podcast. I don't know if it's Darren, your brother from another mother.
Oh, yeah, Darren, yeah.
But Darren Peterson.
You won't have any problem setting levels with him, I'll tell you that. You know that.
Yeah.
He's been my best friend since I was 16 years old. My 30 years, this man's been by my side. But I'll tell you what, God, is he loud.
He's fucking loud. I'm not saying he's annoying either. We're all brothers from other mothers here, but I'm just saying, Darren.
Love the man to death.
You better be wearing your earring. Love you. And I love Brandon too. Thanks for hanging out.
Hey, no problem, man. Thanks for having me.
Do me a favor. Give me a send-off. Say hello and say goodbye.
Take it easy.
We'll see you next time. All right. We'll send this shit right
now.